What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Will of DDT. My name is Mujinator, and today I'm coming at you with a deck profile for my favorite deck for the OP6 meta, and that is my girl, Vinsmoke Reiju. The reason why I love Reiju so much is because she has such an aggressive playstyle for a purple deck. She utilizes a lot of playing from trash effects, where a lot of the cards that you may have lost from the field or discarding, you are able to bring them back out from your trash or your hand directly, just so you can keep that tempo up and keep laying on the pressure for your opponent. It's a very fun playstyle. I've been playing with this deck since it came out at the beginning of OP6. I personally am most likely going to be running this deck at the upcoming Peoria Regionals in May. So I am excited. I'm very satisfied with how my deck looks right now. We're going to jump into a quick deck profile, just talk about some thoughts I had when making the deck, a few tech choices I made, go over some general play styles and what you want to look for when you're drawing your opening hands. And then after that, we'll jump into some gameplay on the sim just to show you guys how to play against certain matchups and how the deck looks on the field. So I'm glad you guys are tuning in, and I hope to see you guys in a future video. Alright guys, here is a quick overview of the deck profile and the ratios I decided. To start off, I'm just going to quickly go over the key characters in the deck and their abilities. So the way the deck usually works is that you have your low cost versions of the Germa siblings, and what all of their abilities do is whenever you play it, they have an activate main effect where you can minus a Dawn from your field and you can play their respective version of themselves that have the higher cost from either your hand or your trash. It's really important that you can play them from trash because you can actually use these cards as counter without any worry, or use them as discard fodder, knowing that you can play them from trash next turn using your low cost siblings. So let's just jump into their abilities. So the first sibling we're going to go over is Vinsmoke Reiju, which is 4 cost. So her ability is, on play, if you have equal to or less than the amount of Dawn that your opponent has, then you can just straight up draw 2 cards. That's really strong, because if you look at the leader ability for Vinsmoke Reiju, is that when you subtract a Dawn from your field, you just straight up draw a card. So just from this alone, you're going to be drawing 3 cards, and because you have 2 from here and 1 from the leader. But it's important to note that the Reiju effect only works if you have 5 cards in hand. So make sure you remember that. Reiju only, the character Reiju, you only draw 2 if you have 5 cards in hand. So if you don't, that means this is going to be a dead card and you only get to draw 1 from the leader ability. Next sibling we have is Vinsmoke Niji. So same thing, Niji, all the upgraded siblings, the 4 cost, 5 cost, 7 cost, all their effects only happen if you have equal to or less than the amount of Dawn that your opponent has. So the fact that they always minus a Dawn with the little versions, you're almost always going to have less Dawn than your opponent, or at most equal to them. So what he does is he has 2 effects. On play, if you have equal to or less than the same amount of Dawn as your opponent, you get to either bounce a 4 cost from the opponent's field back to their hand, or you can just straight up KO a 2 cost or lower from their field. Really strong when you want to remove some swings from their opponent's board, or just get rid of some, chump blockers, or maybe you want to get rid of a searcher that might be able to swing later on. Really strong card. The next one, probably the strongest sibling of the deck, is the 7 cost Vinsmoke Ichiji. His effect is, on play, same as the others, if your opponent has less than or equal to, or if you have less than or equal to the amount of Dawn that your opponent has, this card, you can minus 2,000 attack on one of the characters, and this card gains rush. So it's really strong. You get to play this card by minimum turn 2 because the small Ichiji only costs 4. So for those of you that are familiar with the playstyle, you can actually bring out each of the high cost characters with the low cost ones. So you can play the 4 cost with only 2 Dawn, you can play the 5 cost with only 3 Dawn, and you can play the 7 cost rush with only 4 Dawn. So all these are very strong early game plays that set up the game for a lot of strong tempo. I only run 2 of the 4 cost Yonji because he is easily removable. Yeah, he's a 4 cost 5,000 attack blocker, but the reason why I run 2 of him is because he's really crucial in those end of game. Just need 1 blocker to stay alive to wipe them next turn. So for those of you that don't know what his effect is, if you have less than or equal to the amount of damage as your opponent, he just straight up becomes a 6,000 attack blocker, whether that's your turn or their turn. So it's a 4-cost 6,000 attack blocker. That itself is just really strong stats. That's really hard for your opponent to get rid of. Again, 4 cost is kind of easy to get rid of if you're playing against a blue player or a black player, but regardless, if they can get rid of it, it is a strong blocker, and you can actually attack with it with 6,000 attack. Really, really strong. I run 2 of the Vinsmoke Judge. He is probably one of my favorite cards in the deck. A lot of people say that you don't really get to play him, but you definitely do. You really want to plan to play him if you have him in your hand. If not, then just go about your regular game plan of, setting up board and playing aggressively. But if you do see him in your early hand, try to plan and play him. Try to subtract only 1 Don per turn, so that way by turn 5, turn 6, you're able to play Judge. For those of you that don't know what he does, on play, you minus 1 Don, and then you trash 2 cards from your hand. Once you do that, you can play 1 Germa card that has... you can play 4 Germa cards that have 4,000 power or less, which is pretty much all of your low-cost Germa siblings from your trash. So that means when you play Judge for 8 Dawn, you can actually play each of these right after you use his effect. And once you do that, you can use each of their effects to summon each of their upgraded versions. So when you play Judge, you're actually bringing out the whole family and creating such a strong play. And once you bring them out, you're pretty much guaranteed to win next turn, unless you are in a very bad position. So being able to play him is really, really strong. He also has a second ability just to make sure you win the next turn. Activate main, you can subtract another Dawn, and you can rest up to 1 of your opponent's Dawn cards. So if you're trying to go for a game and your opponent has 1 Dawn up, you can use this effect to just rest it, just to make sure no counter events are used in your finishing blow. After that, just a bunch of tech cards that I think are really strong and synergize well with the deck. You have the 2K counter Sora. She's a very playable 2K. You trash a card from your hand, and if you have less than or equal to the amount of Dawn that your opponent has, you can actually take 1 of the little siblings, assuming they have 4,000 or less power, from your trash to your hand. That is really good for recycling. If you don't have a strong play, you can play this one and grab 1 of these from trash, so that way you can play them and upgrade them to their bigger versions whenever you need to. After that, we have a really strong tech that I was convinced by OP6.5, another member of our channel. I think it's really, really strong into certain matchups. We have the 4-cost Charlotte Pudding. On play, your opponent has to return all cards from their hand into their deck, shuffle it, and draw 5 cards. So if you're playing against certain decks that like to keep a lot of cards in hand, this is really strong and make them get rid of a lot of the cards and ruin their game plan for next turn. We have the 2K counter Kaya. She's really good because on play, you can draw 2, trash 2. So usually how that works is you draw 2 from the deck, and you usually want to trash the big versions of the Germa siblings, so that way you can play them next turn with Reiju. So it's really good at cycling your hand and getting more counters. Queen, a really strong addition to this deck. He is pretty much a draw 2. So again, everyone kind of knows what Queen does. You minus the Dawn, draw 2, trash 1. But since you did minus the Dawn, you get to draw 1 more from Reiju. So you're basically drawing 2. So it's really, really strong. We have the stage, Kingdom of Germa. Very similar to those of you that played the Impel Down deck when it came out. You rest it, you get to trash a card from your hand, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, take a Germa card and add it to your hand. Really good because, again, you just want to get these cards in trash. You can trash one of the big ones and potentially draw the small one so that you can play it this turn. Really, really strong because it's a constant engine for the deck throughout the game. And then after that, we have a Germa Searcher event, Germa 66, 1-cost event. You get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, look for a Germa card, add it to your hand. Generic Searcher, really strong with a good trigger of just being able to draw a card. All right, guys, so that was a quick overview of the deck. Let me know if you guys have any changes you'd like to make. With that being said, we'll jump into some games so that way you guys can see the deck in action. All right, guys, looks like we're up against a Moria here, and they chose to go second. Just no problem with Reiju. We generally want to go second, but going first is fine. Just looking at the hand, we're looking pretty good here. We do have the Germa Kingdom, so I am happy about that. And we also have the Reiju combo ready for turn 2. So I think we might just keep this. Yeah, we'll keep that. So turn one, let's go ahead and play that Germa Kingdom. We'll trash the Niji because we don't really need it in hand right now. Grab the, I think Yonji, big Yonji's fine, because we might be able to see the small one later. Again, not that big of a deal. We don't really want to play it. That's fine. Yeah, we'll take the Yonji there. We'll go ahead and pass turn. Not much else we can do. But we're already on a strong start. Just getting the stage turn one makes such a big difference. Being able to constantly trash the big Reiju or the big Yonji or Niji and just being able to draw the small one. So I think what we'll do is just use the stage here, trash the, I guess we don't really need the Yonji right now. And we'll grab the Ichiji. That's going to be really strong here. Going to be really hard to get rid of as long as we find the little one. But I think right now we could go ahead, just use the, maybe, yeah, we can go ahead and swing 5. See when we get there, and we'll use the event here. We have to read on. Yep, go ahead and use the event. And let's search for the, oh, there it is. We found the small Ichiji. Go ahead and return those to the deck. Play the 2-cost Reiju here. And just one thing to remind everyone is when you are playing Reiju, the character, make sure that you use her effect first before the leader, because remember, Reiju does have a condition that you have to have 5 cards in hand. I know in this case it doesn't really matter, but there are some times when you might end up with 5 cards when using the Reiju character. So make sure you use her card effect first, and then the leader effect, so that way you can always draw 3 cards when you need to. So go ahead, we drew 2 2K counters there and another Niji. Really good draw, a lot of counter in hand. And we'll go ahead and get ready for what the Moria is going to do. Plays the Sindri. Gonna trash 5 cards. Do see that Borsellino in trash, makes it feel pretty good. Looks like he's gonna use the leader effect here. Gonna swing for 6. I'm guessing at leader. We have no problem taking this. I'm pretty sure we end up taking this one. Checking trash here. Oh, I think he trashed 2 Morias there. Doesn't that feel pretty good? But yeah, I think I just end up trashing the big Ichiji because, I mean, it has no counter anyway, and we gotta put him in trash regardless with the stage, so just gonna skip a step there. But yeah, we have no problem taking this life, and we end up with another counter or another stage trash bait with another stage. So again, feeling pretty good about that turn. Not much really happened. So looks like he is gonna pass turn there. I think we should just start off by using the stage there, get rid of the extra stage, and draw another Ichiji. Oh, that feels really good. Just because if they do spend all those resources to get rid of the big one, we have another little Ichiji to play when we need to. So I think we're just going to start swinging with the characters we have on board, just to avoid any unforeseen counters. Again, I don't think black has anything like that, but just good practice to have. He's going to counter out a couple of those. We're going to play the 4-cost Ichiji minus a Don, play the big one. Again, order doesn't really matter here. I guess we could just subtract. Again, doesn't matter. We still do draw that card. Go ahead and attack for 7, and I'm pretty sure he's going to take that. Yeah, he has no choice. He's going to lose too much card advantage. End turn there. Feeling pretty good here. Even if the Moria does try to clear our board, we do have the small Ichiji and Reiju again to run it back. So they can spend as many resources as they want. I'll probably counter out of one of the attacks if they really do attack at them, just to kind of make them spend more resources because we already have so much counter in hand. So let's see what the leader or the Moria ends up doing here. Alright, so use that Great Eruption on the Reiju. So he's going to swing 5 with the Reiju for us. Kind of weird, because he's going to remove it anyway, I'm guessing. But I guess we'll counter out of it to make sure he uses that resource on it. Yeah, we'll counter using the big Niji. Doesn't really matter. We're going to bring him back if we need to. We have the small one in hand. And he is going to swing 7 at... Let's see, we swing 7 at... I'm guessing the leader, because he's going to play something to remove the Reiju. Yep, there's the Absalom. So he's going to swing 7 at leader. I think we just take that as well. I don't feel bad about taking that this early on in the game. We have a lot of counter in hand for later. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and take that. That's not an issue. And we get another big Reiju in hand, another target to use for the German Kingdom stage. But here, I think we want to look to remove the board. And we're not at
danger for any Moria. We do see 3 Moria in his trash. Oh, that feels so bad. I can already tell. But we're not in any danger of any Moria play anytime soon. If he does have a Moria in his hand, then he's just lucky as hell, and we can't do much about that. But, ooh, I think Judge is going to be really good here. I think the game can last long enough. We can grind out long enough to get to Judge. So I do decide to grab that. Worst case scenario, I pitch it later, but it's always good to have one in hand. But I think we just go ahead and start swinging at the board here. Probably going to let that Perona die. Yep, that's not a problem. We'll swing another 7, because we're going to play Niji for 3, so might as well be efficient. Swing 7 there. Probably going to take that. Yeah, that's no problem. And now we're going to drop that Niji to bounce the Absalom, and then he'll have only 1 swing with his leader next turn. And we're looking pretty good here. So go ahead, play the Niji. Manasadon. Play big Niji from trash. We'll bounce the Absalom, and we draw a card and a 2k counter. That feels really good. Again, we're building up that card advantage while also building up a board. So it's feeling pretty good. We have a lot of tempo. Ichiji is a menace right now, so I'm hoping he tries to target it with a lot of cards to remove it. So that way next turn I could just play the small Ichiji again and just run it back and make it feel really, really inefficient for him to get rid of it. So he is at the 8 Dawn turn. If I didn't see that he has 8 Moria in trash, I'd be kind of scared. But knowing that he has 3 Moria in trash, I'm feeling pretty good that he doesn't have a 4th one in hand. That's just going to be extremely lucky if he has it. So let's see if he does. Okay, playing the Perona. Gotta subtract the Ichiji by 3, so I know he's going to start targeting that. That feels pretty good. Also going to use a Great Eruption. And he's probably going to play a Absalom. I think that's Enrage. Yep. So he's going to kill it there. And he's going to swing 6 at leader. I'm probably going to counter out of this one. We don't need to have this much 2k in hand, so might as well use one of them. Yeah, I'll go ahead and trash 2k there. And yeah, we're still sitting. Oh, another Ichiji feels really good. So we know that 7 cost Ichiji is going to be coming back every single turn whenever he tries to get rid of it. So that's just going to be a lot of pressure there. So what do we do here? A couple of options. I think we could just start swinging. That might be the best option here because we know we're going to spend 4 on that Ichiji and leaving us only, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 left. So might as well start swinging. See what happens with the 6 here. Maybe get a 2k out of hand. Yep, and there's a 2k, and here's going to be an easy 7k from leader. If he does count out of it, he's going to get rid of 2 cards, and that's going to feel really good. Oh, that feels really good. Okay, that's fine. And then here's going to come another 7k. With the Ichiji he spent so many resources getting rid of, and he's going to almost have to take this life. Swinging another 7, or else he'll have no cards to play with next turn. Alright, just choose one of us. Yeah, I chose Absalom, doesn't really matter. We do get another 2k counter from the leader effect draw. And we're just getting so much value out of these draws and these Ichiji plays. And there, just like that, he's at 1 life left. He does have a couple of swings on board, but he has a tough decision to make next turn. Let's see if we want to use this German Kingdom. Might as well. I think we don't need this right now, do we? Just in case that he doesn't kill the Ichiji, 2k counter might be good. But I think we take the Ichiji just in case he leaves that up and we just have more swings next turn. Again, we already have so much counter in hand. Having 1 dead card doesn't feel that bad. So I think that's fine here. He has a tough decision to make. He can try going for my board, but it's going to cause him to lose so many resources in hand. Or he can go for my life and just try to put me at a point where I have to win next turn, which I probably will. I think I can win next turn if he plays this incorrectly. Okay, so it looks like he's going for my board. Again, it feels so good making them target the Ichiji because I still have 2 more small ones ready to go. So I'm not too sad about letting that one go. So let's see what he does here. Alright, so I wonder if he's going to bring out that hog back to get some of those Morias. So I think all of his Morias are in trash now. So I'm sitting real pretty here. If he ever wants to see one of those Morias again, he has to waste his revive on a hogback. Oh, and he's using an Ice Age. Oof. He does not know what's coming. Is he gonna swing at my Niji? Yeah, he does. I think I'm just gonna counter out of that. Make him use a couple more swings to get rid of it. Okay, plays the Absalom to kill the EGG. That's no problem. I think we counter out of that. That's not a problem. Might as well use one of those EGGs. I don't think the game will go on long enough to use both of them. I'll just use one of them. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Looks like he's going all in to get rid of that Niji. That is completely fine. And he's going to swing at the Piranha for 5. Oh, I wonder if that was a misplay? Not swinging with the Piranha. I wonder... Let's see. Let's grab that. Let's grab a counter. We don't need another EGG. We already have one in trash. I think we can go for game here. Yeah, he has 3 cards in hand. What we can do... Put 2 under leader. Swing 7. He doesn't counter out of that, and then spend 4 for... Yes, 4 Dawn. We spent 4 for little EGG. We have 1 left over to swing for 8. And that should be game. So let's see. I think we're just going to do 2K under leader here. And then we'll still have 4 and 1 left for EGG. Yeah, feels pretty good. Alright, so swing 7. Should take that. There's no way he has to... Okay, I guess we are cooked now, boys and girls. We... maybe we're not cooked. Maybe we can salvage this. We still have to play the EGG regardless. That's still the play here. Definitely did not expect that to be countered out of. Okay, we're good. Let's just get rid of swings. We have to counter. We have to target their Absalom now, just to make sure he can't swing with it. Yeah, and there's no way he can counter this. There's no point. There's no point. We'll leave the 1 Dawn up just to bait, even though everyone knows Reiju doesn't run 1-cost events, but who knows? Maybe he'll fall for it. Regardless, I'm not scared of losing this turn. He has 3 swings, maybe 4 if he allocates the Dawn to that Sindri. But I have just so much counter in hand with 2 life. I think I'm poised to win next turn. Yeah, I think he's cooked now. I think we're good. Let's see how he ends up playing this. He can't even play a Moria. They're all in his trash. So that feels really bad for him. I know he's not too happy about that. But I'm wondering if he's just going to try to allocate Dawn and just go for game. I don't think he has any other choice here. You could try walling up, but I have Judge ready for next turn. I'll be at 8 Dawn, and that's just going to completely, close out the game. But yeah, I think we're pretty good here. I don't think we're in any danger to lose. Let's see. Thinking here. Yeah, not too many options. He only has 2 cards in hand. I'm not sure why he's thinking so much. At this point, there's only 1 or 2 things you can really do. Swinging 7. I'm guessing he's going to swing at my life because he has nothing else to swing at. Yeah, it looks like he's swinging at my leader. And regardless of what it brings out, I'm probably just going to take it. I mean, I have so much counter to really counter out of any of the next attacks he has. So I think I'll just... Yeah, I think I'll just take this. He takes a Piranha. The 2K counter. Again, I'm still not in any worry to lose this turn. Yeah, I wonder why he took the Piranha, but again, I guess he just wanted to make sure he has something to survive next turn, which he probably won't. So I'll probably just take that. And honestly, I could probably take the next attack too, to be honest. He's probably going to pull like a 9k swing or a 7k swing, and then a 9k swing. There's no way he's going to allocate Dawn to that Sindri. That'll just be such a waste. Let's see. Okay, so he's going to start loading up that Absalom, swinging 7. Yeah, I just take that. Even if he puts 9 on Piranha swing, I can easily counter out of that. So yeah, I think I just take this. That's no problem. Yeah. Too much counter. I'm not going to do anything about it. Yeah, so go ahead, I'll take that. Perfect. Oh, another counter. Again, just so much counter in hand. I don't really need to use all this, so I'll just drop my 2Ks. 2K counter there, 2K counter there, and 2K counter there, and we're looking really good now. And I think we just win the game here. I don't even have to play judge. There's no counter, or sorry, there's no triggers that I know of that can stop the character swing on black. Right? There's no way. Maybe I'm overthinking it. So that could swing for leader, just in case. I think we just swing with EGG, just to make sure. I know I'm being a little overly cautious, but I think we just swing 9 with EGG first. There's no way he can cut out of that with 2 cards, so he's going to have to take that. Okay, there's no point in thinking. You're not bluffing anything, so go ahead and just take that life. Alright, and now we just fully stack up that Reiju. And we just win, and yep, there's a surrender. There's nothing he could have done. He did have 2Ks in hand, so that was kind of scary, but just, regular math. He did say GG, some sportsmanship there. Yeah, there's no way he could have won that with the way I was allocating down that turn. But yeah, that was a really strong representation of what Reiju can do when Reiju can pop off. I know it feels kind of bad for the Moria that he did get all of his Morias in trash, so it felt pretty good not having to worry about that. The EGGs, just constant 7K swings every single turn. They spent so many resources getting rid of it, and it brings it back. Using the Niji to get rid of any swings they might have, and just the constant draw power from the Reiju and the leader draw just really, really shows how efficient this deck can be, even against this top meta decks just like Moria. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This was a brief example of how Moria can play into some of the really top meta decks. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to be trying to do a few more videos with deck profiles and a quick sim gameplay right after. So if you guys like this format, let us know. Let us know in the comments. If there's any changes or any feedback you'd like to give us, let us know below. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we hope you guys have a good rest of your day.